Hello, Snore Nerd, and doing a vlog today about a little experiment I'm running at the minute. Basically, ages ago, you may have seen if you've watched this channel, I did this like random generator thing, which was actually based on this initial code that I'm showing here. What it is it's a component, an A-frame component that generates random art sculptures, which is where I then initially took that and then I did the random generator primitive component in general. But I went back to that code base today and started playing around with it. And let me just show you what the idea is of this thing. I'll just full screen this. So it's a bit of a weird idea, like, and it is very strange. It's just like something I tried as a little testing project. Now I'm thinking, so basically, what does this do? This looks like random, right? It looks like random shapes being generated, random primitives being generated. But you can. The idea is it's like a random art sculpture generator, right? So I was thinking today, how can I expand on that? And obviously, good way to expand on it would be to have it so in VR. So I'm trying to make a VR specific app where you can grab each piece, move it around, and sort of organize the sculptures, which takes custom textures. It's randomly generating the positions. It's randomly. I'm trying to add physics at the minute. Having a bit of a headache with that, to be honest. It seems like A-Frame's physics system library, or it's one of the community libraries that is used quite a lot, but it doesn't seem to be supported in the latest version or 1.20. So I have to actually roll back to an older version of A-Frame to even get that to work, which is a bit frustrating. This is a problem I have with A-Frame sometimes, is the fact that basically some components just don't seem to be don't seem to work with the newer version, which is it's very frustrating actually, to be honest, at times. But anyway, so let me just show this. This will be on my GitHub soon if you want to check it out. It already is on my GitHub actually. I'll put that below. It's obviously just something I'm experimenting with though, so it's likely to be in various states of working basically. So I've just been looking at some examples because I'm trying to integrate physics and make it grabbable and make it sit. And I want to try this out with VR so you can use the. I don't know. Look, I'm not that familiar with VR dev. Look, my friend's got a Quest, so I'm going to try out the component, test it out, see if I can actually get anything working. Basically, let me just delete some of this while I'm here. So yeah, there's a lot here. Obviously, it's very messy code because I'm just experimenting with it, and this is like a experimental thing I'm just doing as a sideline. I'm going to get back on Papyrus soon, actually. I just sort of had an idea for this and then started messing around with it a bit. But this is the actual entity. This is the actual component itself, random art generator, which works. I mean, it all works. It could obviously. So you got minimum shapes, maximum shapes, custom objects, so you can add a new custom object, random seed values, which is like the controls the amount of randomization, with textures, which you just load in your textures via HTML in the assets folder here, and then it figures all that out. And then you just have to pass it the texture IDs that you've given in the assets, and then the custom models if you have any. So there isn't any actually on this one, but anyway. It checks for that in the code, component code. It checks for if there is a custom GLB, and then adds it if so, and if not, it doesn't. Anyway, let's just play around with this a bit. So if I had 200, let's make it a bit bigger, and I'll increase the seed by quite a lot, right? So if I go, so at 15, this should now be a lot more spread out when I actually reset the thing. So if we go, and go to here. And go there and restart. Yeah, there you go. So now I've got, like, you can tell immediately that it's much more of a spread. There's many more objects. It's a lot more actually, and the spread is a lot more. And this can be quite fun actually in general because it's basically generative art thing. I'll make it a bit less. I get 8, which should make it all squished together a bit more. Got too many tabs open, haven't I? That one, there you go. So that's, again, it's generated. Everything's a little bit closer, as you can tell. And you can just keep refreshing. I'm working on trying to get the interface. Thinking about the interface at the minute. So basically, obviously the physics, the wireframes around the models. I'm trying to think about how to use physics in this system. Sometimes it seems to screw up though, obviously, as you can tell. I'll just switch that off quickly. But yeah, basically I want to make it so that when you're in VR, you could go, you know, select or I'm confused as to whether I can use a hand. Like, I'm not that familiar with VR development per se. Like, I've done a bit, but I'm trying to figure out exactly how to do that. I did do an older game in VR, so I guess if I could use that code, basically I just need to be able to modify the positions on the fly. But with gaze, it seems like it would be a bit complicated because you'd have to look for a certain amount of time and then move it around your eyes, which would be a bit complicated. So I'm going to try and see if we can get hand controls or something like that with the Quest working. But again, it's quite a big thing. Let me just switch off the physics debugging. The only reason I'm adding that in, as I said, was because I'm interested in integrating physics with this thing. And I'll just release it. Like, people can look at it, they can use it, they can try and, like, I don't know what use it really has. You can probably make bits of art out of it. It's, like I said, it's a generative art project, really. Let me just find where the scene is. So go up here, debug, and I'll put false. Debug that flag on there, and under the scene, just makes, for physics anyway, makes it so that it just shows that wireframe, which is useful for testing. I don't know if I was going to reload this. There you go. There's no wireframe on there now, and it just loads up a new randomly generated scene. Also, sometimes it applies lights. I just did that for more variation in the random art sculptures that are generated. That button there is obviously, there'll be a gaze cursor interaction. I'm not exactly finalized any of that, but I think that might be quite a cool idea if you could basically, because you can customize the textures. These are just a bunch of textures I had, and you could add anything you wanted. So you could add granite, you could add whatever, and it would create these random with the component, it would create a random sculpture of sorts. And this is a bit chaotic at the minute, so if I try and tone it down a bit, so you could go into, close this project now because it's in the way. Oh, for God's sake! Go to here. Let's change it again. Let's do maximum shapes of maybe, but there's like infinite variety really. So like maximum shapes of 30, minimum shapes like 15. Seed, make it a bit less spread, like 4. I'm not sure if 4.5 would work actually or something like that, but I don't know, we can try it, I guess. Just load it up again. Wait, what? I thought I turned that off. Oh, this is an older version or something. What the hell? Oh, I must have left something here. What? Oh, it's an older session, sorry. So we go here, I suppose. It's a bit weird. Browser, Chrome, what are we on? 8 minutes. Get rid of that. There we go. Yeah, so that's a bit of a smaller sculpture. Usually, generally speaking, the smaller and more refined it is, the more you get something that could actually be like a little sculpture or modernist sculpture gets generated, basically. Because all it is basically generate. Yeah, like this. That could be in an art gallery, sort of. It looks like almost like a box with some rings around it. It's mostly like in the modernist art look. And yeah, it's quite cool, I suppose, like as a generative art tool if you wanted to just make some weird generative art. I think this would be quite a cool immersive experience in VR. So that's why I'm trying to port it to VR. Like, I think that would be where the main strength for this thing would be, is like so you can create these little like weird sculptures. It'd probably fit in well in an art gallery if you could move the things around as well. That adds another layer of And what I can do, because I've done this before, is you can export the whole scene as a GLB. It's possible. I've done it with my other component, and then you've got like basically a 3D sculpture art generator thing that you can use, which is quite cool, I suppose. But yeah, it needs to have the ability to move the objects around so you can customize it a bit more. No, that's quite a minimalist one. That's like that. And that's just 2 objects there that's been generated. Yeah, just around the minute I'm just refreshing, but yeah, I just thought I'd show that. Like, show what I've been hacking on today. Hacking on a lot of stuff before I start my job, and that's basically about it. Anyway, I'll leave this video at that. Just thought I'd showcase it. Oh, that's quite cool. Look, she's like peering over the edge, eating a big donut. Probably what would also be useful is so you could destructively destroy elements too. That would be a good thing. So for example, if I wanted to delete this element here, just maybe hover over it for 10 seconds or something, and then it'll delete, or 5. 10 would be too much, 5 probably. That would be quite cool thing. That actually looks quite cool, that one. Yeah, that sort of works. I'm gonna take a break now, I think, anyway. But yeah, oh, that looks alright. So see, like sometimes you can get some quite interesting results like that. It's quite interesting. I do get this interlacing sometimes too, but I quite like it, to be honest. Sometimes it doesn't. Well, hey, yeah, we're starting to get some really interesting results now. Actually, probably like because I customized it a bit, it's just like looks interesting. Alright, anyway. I'll leave that at that. I might do a code overview on this once it's a bit tidied up and just talk about how it works. But for now, I just thought I'd show it. And like I did do the base of this quite a while ago, but I'm just starting to build on it a bit more now. So I thought I'd just showcase some of that. Like and subscribe if you like it. I do loads of weird little generative art projects like this and 3D browser projects and that sort of thing. Papyrus 3D is the main thing I'm working on at the minute, which is a 3D interaction engine for A-frame. I actually got a lot of work done on it yesterday. You can check out the vlog on that, the map editing functionality. Anyway, I've been Noah Nerd. Like and subscribe. Bye.